Hey guys, welcome back. Thought I'd do a little update of what's going on out in the shed on this Saturday night. A few pizzas, a few drinks. I'm out here in the shed with my best mate who's getting stuck into her little Mazda. Just doing a little bit of an update on what's going on with the car, and we'll show you all around and get stuck into it. A little bit of a shed update. Keep this update too with what is going on out in the shed. We've just got a little bit going on in the last few days. Obviously Lisa's getting stuck into the Mazda. We're doing odd ends and jobs here and there on that. We'll run you through a few cars that we've got in the shed at the moment, along with the VL, what's happening with that, and another car that's back there we'll get into as well. I'll spin the camera around and we can get started to talk about the little Mazda. So we've got the little RX3 sitting in here. We've obviously just got it in the shed and we're going over a few things with the car. We've gone along and Lisa's added her little Savannah tail lights. They look absolutely killer. Really sets it off, especially outside in the sun. They look good against the chrome. Kirby paint is popping. Obviously in that last drive you might have seen how it sounded so tinny, rocky inside the car. We've just gone along, we've pulled the rear seat out, fixing up the parcel shelf. Had speaker holes in it with no speakers. But we're going to fix the parcel shelf, and while that's out, just sealing off all the back area behind the seat. So obviously you get a bit of fuel, vapors and smells inside the cabin. So we're going to seal all that off with a bit of melamine. It's black on the back of it. Just picked that up from Bunnings today. Lisa's got a little bit of a background in carpentry, so I've left that job up to her. Come into her little studio and run us through. What are you doing, love?
So I just made these cardboard templates to go into the back where the cross bracing is. Yep. Just to seal up the holes to stop the noise and some petrol fumes. So just cutting that out of some 3mm MDF, which is like a chalkboard, sort of a paint finish. They had a shiny finish, but I thought we'll just run with that. And yeah, hopefully get that all sealed up.
At least it's black as well on the back, saves us painting it with a brush or a roller or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's it. So just cutting these out and yeah.
Last corners between obviously the bottom area.
Yeah. And then we'll just have to drill some holes out for all the wiring and stuff to go through, and hopefully that'll stop some noise. We might put some of this in. I've got some acoustic liner to put through the car. So we might take the carpet out and then just run that through to help stop some noise. So we'll add that on top of the sound bedding that's already in the car. No point in taking that off. We might as well just add that straight over the top.
And that's that car builder stuff. We put it in the hatchback and that worked brilliant. The car's really quiet inside, nice and smooth. So obviously just one of the little things we'll go over on the Mazda. Put some of that acoustic liner in it, seal off that back area where the seat is, and that'll be good. I think it'll be a lot nicer to drive too. So we'll get that done. We'll seal it all off with maybe some sealer, rivets, whatever we got to do just to seal it up, and we'll repair that parcel shelf as well. Yeah. While we've had the car in, I've just given it a service today as well. Fresh oil filter and oil. Painted that up satin black so that didn't stand out like a dog's nuts. And we've also upgraded that alternator to an internal regulator. The one that was on it was external reg. Wasn't charging either, so we had a flat battery. Didn't know until we purchased the car. Obviously that was an issue. So once we get the car back from tuning, we'll go over all of the wiring in the engine bay, tidy that up, whatever needs to be tidied, hidden and whatnot. And then moving forward, we'll give the car a full detail. I came across this side, we had a bit of a water leak developing on top of the plate. So I whipped the intake manifold off and discovered that it had no blocking or any Welsh plugs between the inlet manifold and the block. I'll throw up a picture for reference for that so you can understand. But obviously EFI hardware now doesn't utilize any water through the manifold. So while that was off, cleaned all that up, put a Welsh plugs in there now just with some stag, and also gave Lisa just a fresh set of fuel lines with some AN fittings and Raceworks hose. Raceworks stuff always works well. They help us out heaps with stuff. So we've done that. Moving towards the back, just a personal preference. Obviously them lights have been done. We pulled the rear muffler off. Don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's pretty dark, but that's all flat black now and heat proof painted, so it doesn't stand out too much. Yeah, I've ordered some vinyl for the rear tubs as well while we're there. They're meant to be covered in vinyl with like a stitch line along the base, so they have like a 6mm foam backing. They will be wicked. Pick them up from Richard at InStyle Trim over in Melbourne. He does a wicked job. So after we've done that, probably in the future, we'll look at trimming the back seat, which is still just black 808 vinyl pattern. We'll convert that to RX3 along with the door trims too. So bit by bit, we'll get through the car, sort out all its niggling issues, and get it tuned up. It's booked in for Tuesday, so today is what, Saturday night. So we're just going over the last few bits of the car, and we'll get that ready for that. Gonna get Clinton, an old friend of ours, or friend of mine, who used to tune the VL when it was RB, back when it had an Autronic in it with a manual RB. Never missed a beat, and yeah, Clint does a good job. He's a bit of a rotor head himself. Moving over to the VL, I've had this out only today for the first time in ages. It's been covered up, covered in dust. Hasn't moved in a very long time. No action really since Summernats. Car's been sitting, obviously it's had the same oil and shit in it since what, last year before I went to Summernats. So just giving it a quick service, dropped the oil, giving it a filter. I've removed the steel radiator in favour of a brand new alloy one, just removing some weight on the car. I've done a lot of elsewhere things on the car, removing weight, which I'll go through at another time, and hopefully before Holden Hatch, which is only I think 2 weeks away. So in the meantime, I was meant to, well, I'm still planning on going through the car, adding some sensors, mainly converter pressure, trans pressure, drive shaft, and front wheel speed, so we can work out. Obviously having some more data is always beneficial, especially going fast down a track. So try and add them before we can go. I wanted to scale the car as well. I've done a few changes to the car. I want to get a good wheel alignment done on it, scale it up, do some 4-corner scaling, and set up the anti-roll bar as well with me sitting in the car. So just to try and get it out of the hole nice and sharp, and obviously no twisting with me in the car. Something else that's been in the shed for a while now. It's hard. I'm trying to fit it in between jobs, work, home, back and forwards, whatever. This is young Nick's little TC Cortina. It's a bit of a drag challenge project. It's been in Nick's family for some time. They bought the car. His dad raced it for, I think it was about 10, 20 years or so. And they've bought it back now, and it's going to be Nick's little drag challenge project. I'll get a torch so we can have a look in the boot. I've just finished obviously doing some mini tubs. Car's going to be a cool little thing. Nick's kind of first serious kind of drag car. He's got a real neat other white Cortina with a Windsor in it. So this one, just a set of mini tubs. He supplied the sheet metal. They turned out really well. Obviously it's an old race car, like I said, so we're just working with what we've got. It'll clean up really good after. They're just in some black etch primer now. We'll have a look underneath. It turned out quite neat. It's obviously just a etch to stop it rusting now. I've had the diff in the car. Obviously it's sitting over there. Just been making up some control arms. These are billet ends, all TIG welded and plugged, so bottom arms are ready to be welded out. I've had the diff in the car, which was had the guys over at CDS, Carmen and Dino. They done the diff housing for me. We knocked it up in a jig, and I designed the lower brackets myself, with the very top hole obviously being the original factory Cortina hole, and all the rest being adjustment for whatever else he wants to do with obviously being a small tyre. We've set up the mini tubs for a 275/50, and he's probably going to race it on a 255, so that will be good. These have just got like a little speed lock on a World Pro Star, so under the car they look really good. If I've got a photo, I'll throw it up as I'm talking. On the ground, car has a good little ride height with the mini tubs in it, and on a 255 actually looks really good. So among the other jobs, obviously the cage that was in it was for a few years ago when it was a V8, had a Clevo in it, I believe. It's tied into the back. I'm kind of keen on putting some extra bar work maybe in through the parcel shelf, running it into the boot, tie up that rear end a bit, put a flat floor in it. He's going to have an ice box in the boot along with the fuel cell, because he is putting a turbo Barrett in it, so it'll be quite a stout combo. Obviously, like I said, for drag challenge, he had the firewall notched up in the Riverland where he's from by another friend, so that's all done. and box will be ready to slot in. Turbo 400. Yeah, obviously an old car. It was painted at home years and years ago. It looked really good, all cleaned up out on the track. So we'll go over the car, add some chassis connectors to it as well underneath. All the chassis rails are pretty dented up and it's got years and years of abuse. So we'll go over it slightly and just doing some guard repairs to the front here, as it had grabbed the front wheel arches a few years ago, and I think down there it slipped off the jack. So we're just going to fix up that, mix the splatter some paint, and yeah, we'll whack some paint on it, blend that in, and maybe do a little rust repair back here along with some bar work. We'll add those chassis connectors. Next we'll be adding the coilovers up underneath. I've just been removing all the old shocker hangers, so drilling out spot welds and all the fun shit. So yeah, we'll set up the coilovers. It's just got some Vikings off of a friend. Probably put something similar in it just to get him going for now, until he, you know, later on wants to do something a bit more expensive. Some adjustable top arms as well, so all the adjustability in the world to want to move the diff back and forwards and set his ride height and whatever. So that's that car. He's been pretty patient. I'm trying to get through this one as quick as I can. As you know, I don't like to spend too long on working on stuff, so the quicker it can get in and get out, the better for both him and me. So that'll be a good little project once it's finished. I was hoping to get it all finished by now, but just been super busy, and look, we're already in April. Who would have thought? So we'll get stuck into this. Between everything else, Holden Nats is coming up, and 3 weeks after Holden Nats we've got Jamboree, so pretty keen to dial the car in as best we can at Heathcote for the Holden Nationals. Jeff's coming over. He's going to help us tune it at the track. There's nothing more frustrating than running the car, collecting the data and having to email it back and forwards with pretty much zero reception at Heathcote. So he's going to fly over. There's heaps of other cars coming as well that he also helps out and supports, tunes. So that'll be good to help have him there. And yeah, like I said, Jamboree only 3 weeks after, so that'll be a big thing for me. Never been to Sydney, and I really can't wait to get there and get the car out on the strip and hopefully run a PB. Also, while we were getting stuck into the Mazda with the service side of things, obviously fresh set of plugs, oil, the filter's done, alternator's done, rebled the cooling system. We got stuck into putting them seats in the car, and wow, what a transformation. Obviously something of our taste, original trim, which is RX3 style, pardon me, and it looks really good. So I'll just shine the torch on there so you can see them. Picked them up off of a bit of a Facebook wanted ad, bargain, whatever you want to call it, which Facebook can be good for. So yeah, they cleaned up really good, cleaned up the carpet. We'll give it a bit of a vacuum, get that back seat back in and give it a clean up, and looking sweet. Mint. Alright guys, just going to wrap the video up there for this weekend. It's Sunday today of the Easter long weekend. Lisa's been out here again today helping in the shed, working on her car. She's just been doing a few of those jobs that we were doing last night. I'll spin the camera around and show you those before we head off for some dinner. So just been cleaning up the car, obviously last night, doing those hangers behind the back seat. I've also got in there and done some of that acoustic liner, so the whole bottom area of that back seat is now lined. It's extra thick. I'll show you actually over here. So this acoustic liner is like 6mm and 6mm with an adhesive back on it, so that worked really well. Shaped that to the tunnel, cut a second piece around just for the flat piece at the back, and then once again that 3mm melamine screwed in, a little bit of adhesive in the bottom corners just to hold it there, and that'll help seal it off heaps, obviously, from the petrol fumes and also a bit of that sound. So while I was doing that, Lisa's been fixing that parcel shelf. The original parcel shelf had holes in it that was a bit hacked up, so got some spare wood I had laying here, some 3mm stuff as well, so filled in the holes, bogged them over with some wood bog, so they'll get smoothed and sanded more dead smooth. She's done a really good job of that. We'll probably just put some automotive carpet, like a black carpet similar to this mat, over the parcel shelf, put that back in, and it'll look $1 million. So until we get into the stage of maybe replacing it with a brand new one. They're about, I don't know, 550 bucks I think for a new one. So while we've got one that's Mazda and it fits, we know it works, it's just them holes. So we'll fix them up and cover that in some black carpet. That'll look mint. So yeah, just went through that. Obviously put the battery back in. It might put a rubber mat in the boot floor once that's done, and also put that panel that goes on the Mazdas between the fuel tank and the boot area just to tidy that up, and we'll tidy the wiring up. Also noticed in that footage that you couldn't see shit yesterday with the lighting, so there's them tail lights. Move that number plate up a little bit as well, and I'll show you that muffler that is now all matte black. Looks mint. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, once again. Please like, subscribe, whatever it is you got to do. Help promote the channel a little bit and get us moving along, and we'll smash out some more videos. Cheers. Wait, just quickly. Yes. So when the Mazda's like all tuned and running killer, what are we going to do after that?
I don't know. We'll have to buy another project car.
Another project car?
Yeah.
Do you want to make it fast?
No, not really.
No?
Well, I got to learn how to drive it first.
Well, that's true. But like once it's tuned, what are you going to do? Cruise the wheels off it?
Yeah. It's like the party car.
It's the party car?
It's the party car.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Party car's like LS Turbo. I don't know about Rotor.
I don't know, like... You can't fit an LS in it.
What are we going to put in it? 20B?
Yeah, that'd be
Turbo.
good. Yeah.
Go to town.
3540 in it.
Is that it?
Is that it?
3540?
I think that's big enough.
That's a pretty good call for a female. Like, she knows what a 3540 is. Not bad.
Still as
We'll
big
start
as
with a
my hand.
G42 and we'll go from there.